For the first time ever, the Poker Atlas Tour is coming to TC8 Social Austin, December 3rd through 16th. 15 different tournaments, including the $250,000 stocking stuffer and the $500,000 title event. For full details, structures, and satellite information, visit the Poker Atlas app or texascardhouse.com. Want to win a brand new Chevy Trailblazer SUV? The Trailblazer Points Championship is here. The more you play and the higher you rank in the Trailblazer Poker Tour, the better your chances are. The best tournament player in the Trailblazer Poker Tour drives away with this grand prize. For full details on the Trailblazer Poker Tour and the Points Championship, visit texascardhouse.com.
Good evening, everybody out there. It is DT here, welcoming y'all to the final table of the first tournament of the Holiday Shootout Series, the 100K guaranteed. And these are the 9 players that have made it to the final table. Give introduction in second as we jump right into it. Scott raising 8-7 suited in the hijack. Susan with a different 8-7 suited, just lets it go. She's a little on the shorter side. And Scotty with a hand he's probably going to defend with. Scotty, solid player. Played with him a lot. Mostly in cash though, not in tournaments. Hope everybody out there is having a good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for the conclusion of this tournament. Not a great flop for either, but Scott with the betting lead is probably just going to bet and take it down. Doesn't have to bet big. This is a good indication Scott's willing to keep the pressure on. Scotty just has to let go of the...
Yeah, you made it 260. Like, why so big?
Let's see what these guys are playing for tonight. First place gets almost $29,000. Second gets $19,000. Third gets almost $13,000. Fourth gets $8,800. Fifth gets $6,400. Sixth gets $5,000 even, which is interesting that the math comes out for that. Seventh, $4,160. Eighth, $3,450, and ninth, $2,850. So the next person eliminated will get at least $2,850. Not bad for a $300 buy-in tournament. Not bad at all. Player introduction in seat 1 we have Susan. Seat 2 we have Scotty. Seat 3 we have Samuel. Seat 4 we have Nicholas. Seat 5 we have Fu. Seat 6 we have Raj. Seat 7 we have Scott. Seat 8 we have Zachary. And seat 9 we have Amir. A lot of these faces are regulars here. Some new faces I've not seen before. Congratulations to everyone who made the final table.
My description was good. Asian, young-looking, frat boy, preppy.
Wonder who's going to have the most fans rooting for them in the chat tonight. Usually we have fans of someone. Usually way more than the other players. I don't know why. Someone's crew just rolls up. That's the way it should be. Get your whole crew to support you. Watch the final table, root for you. Blinds are 40,000, 80,000 with an 80,000 big blind ante. Right now, Nicholas is pretty short. I believe Susan is in a very similar spot, less than 10 big blinds. And since they're so short, I'm curious to see how aggressive they're willing to be. Zachary off of a healthy 20 bigs. I'm going to open this one up in the hijack. Hopefully no one's going to go for the super big raises. I like to see the smaller raises. Makes it a little bit more fun to play. Yeah, 160 is the min click. Scotty with a real hand in the small blind. How light does he think Zachary is opening from the hijack? If you think he's opening super light, this may become a good 3-bet squeeze. You don't really want to get called. You just kind of want to 3-bet and get it through. If Scotty shoves, he's really trying to get folds out of king, queen, king, jack off. Hands like this, ace, deuce suited. Hands that have reasonable equity, but don't want to call an all-in. Decides to fold. Samuel facing a min raise, getting a really good price for my position. This is a dicey hand. I can see defend, I can see fold. Sam wants to battle, though. They'll go heads up to the streets. First street, the flop. 5 is good for Sam. Middle pair, not a bad flop. Zachary's going to have a lot of queen X, but he's going to have a bunch of other stuff, too. With a gut shot and backdoor diamonds, I think Zachary's going to c-bet this flop. I don't think Sam's going to go anywhere. Not for this price. This is 1.5 big blinds. Sam making sure, would much prefer, rather have the king of spades, but making sure what his king is. It's not the king of spades. Sam's going to go with the call. There are a lot of turns this Zachary could put the pressure on. That's a great card for Sam to see. Not a great card for Zachary to see. I don't know how many 3s Sam has. He's going to have a lot of queen X, a lot of 5X. Zachary's going to decide whether or not he wants to take his equity or if he wants to keep on the pressure. And gets there. Thank you, Eddie. Eddie wishing congrats to all the players who made the final table. Eddie, one of the dealers here, glad to have you in the chat. Zach gets there. He might get paid. Sam may go for a little bit of a block bet / value. He doesn't want to face a really big bet, and he can get called by worse. Zachary's most definitely raising here. Yeah, two big blinds into that. And Sam's going to have some full houses. He's going to have some queen X. So Zachary can't, and some 3s. So Zachary can't go bananas without the goods. Now it's a matter of sizing. How much does Zachary think he's going to get paid? And you're going to have to ask yourself, what am I trying to get paid by? Really, you're targeting a 3 in queen X. Those are the 2 most likely hands to pay you. Doesn't make it too big. I like the raise sizing on the much smaller side. Makes it about half pot. Sam's got to think about what Zachary's representing. And this really just looks like ace deuce. Pocket 4s could check back the turn. But the pocket queens, you're blocking pocket 5s. Pocket queens, pocket 4s, and ace deuce. Those are the hands he's really raising for value. And Sam gets away from it. Good on him. I like the bet by Sam. Blocking, trying to get called by ace high, king high. I'm not sure for that sizing, though, if you have any bluffs. So it becomes kind of a weird dynamic with if he's been playing with Zachary all afternoon on whether or not he was you're trying to create some sort of leveling war, but that may be too deep in this. We'd also just take this for face value what it was. Nice hand, Zachary. Well played. A good pickup. Yep. Scotty sitting at just 10 big blinds. Susan and Nicholas both below 10. Amir has a little bit of time, but Susan's really going to, with the blinds just passing, is going to end up in the danger zone with Nicholas real soon. Raj with a great hand. Pocket 8s. See how he wants to play it. You kind of just want everyone to fold when you're raising with 8s this early on. Calls are okay, because worse hands can call you. Ace Queen. Big hand from the chip leader. Scott thinking through all of his options. Whether or not he wants to 3-bet this, I mean, it's definitely a 3-bettable hand. Top of range. And if Scott 3-bets this, Raj's 8s kind of shrivel up. He could take a flop. But Scott just calls. May know that Raj is probably not opening as light. Especially in this configuration. Nicholas now getting a fantastic price to see a flop, but does fold, elects to preserve his chip stack. I don't blame him. You really need a double up, and you don't want to flop a 7 versus 2 players, and you don't really want to flop a king versus this action. 8's way out in front. I don't know what hands Scott would be flatting with that Raj isn't ahead of here, outside of 9s and 10s. I think Scott would 3-bet those with some frequency. I don't think Scott's gonna have 5s all that often. He might just fold them. Scott's gonna float though. Such a small bet. No spade though. Terrible card for Raj. This is gonna connect with Scott pretty frequently. Scott's gonna have king, queen, king, jack, queen, jack, a lot to that small bet. But Raj, with the best hand, just wants to keep the betting lead. And I think Scott might just give up now. This is a pretty small bet though, and he's in position. If you hit your ace and Raj has ace king, you're in bad shape. If you hit your queen, Raj could easily have a jack. So this just might be a fold. Yeah, just gets out of his way. Raj picks it up. Good on him. Best hand the whole way. You have to remember these players have been playing for hours with each other. And they know a lot about how each other has been playing. And especially since they've been playing for hours. I mean, fatigue may be hitting in stuff. You know, some people don't always play their best after playing for such a long period of time, but some people still have bring their A game. I think everyone's going to be fine for a little bit. Eddie, nice reminder that the next tournament that's up is the 100K Mystery Bounty, and that'll start Wednesday. Start times at 5. Thank you, Eddie. That should be a fun tournament. Mystery Bounties are a great fun time. You don't have to win the tournament to win big money. Sam on the button with a great hand. Queen 10 suited. He's going to open this up one for sure. Nicholas not gonna see it with the queen deuce. Gonna give it some thought. Save face. Just gonna muck it though. Foo with the monster. See how he wants to play this. He's gonna just call up. He's just gonna call with the ace king offsuit. The other big stack playing small ball, and it's gonna work out. Because Foo should never have ace-king here, in Sam's mind. We got a fan of Susan in the chat. Rochelle, glad to see you in here. Go, Susan. Foo checking inflow. Sam, in a board that favors him, is going to bet his gut shot. Foo does not want to make 2 pair. This is a small bet, too. We've set the trap. We don't want to lose our customer. I don't really want to like raising here. Sam's continue range is going to be pretty strong versus this. He's not going to... I mean, you're check raising on a board that's heavily favored for Samuel as a pre-flop aggressor. So your hand's going to have to be pretty strong here. This really looks like a set of deuces or ace-deuce. Maybe even ace-jack. Sam just folds, and Foo shows right away the ace-king, and Sam loses some chips. The trap kind of worked. I would have liked to see a check call after the trap had been set. Sure, it could have led to disaster, but most of the time there, you don't have a really strong hand. You're going to have to check call with a jack a lot, and you're going to have to check call with diamonds. And some weak aces. I guess you're gonna have like ace 5, ace 8, ace 7 as the big stack. So why not keep the strong aces in there too? Let Sam value on himself. But nonetheless, good takedown for Fu. Sam kind of dodging a bullet because I'm pretty sure he would have bet turn had he picked up either additional equity, such as a pair, or even a 9, making him open-ended. Susan still getting no traction. It's kind of great, though. She's got a lot of looks. Sam with an ace now. With the smallest stack to your immediate left, I don't mind opening this. He's not going to be shoving super light, especially with Susan so short. 7 deuce, not going to do it. Fu posturing with the 7-5. Does make the call though. So maybe he just wants to play. Raj getting a great price now. Going to make the call. Sam with the best hand. Going to take a flop in position with the best hand. Ace 8 remains the best hand, and with the betting lead, I don't think Sam's going to put in a bet. With Fu having just slow played Ace King, yeah, he's going to have a lot of broadways here. Sam with the best heart too, but Fu making a pair of 5s. See if he wants to start betting at this. Really repping strong hands. King Jack, maybe Queen Jack with the Jack of Hearts. I mean, having just slow played Ace King 2, he could have some really strong hands. That could be factored into his decision choice, just repping. Raj is going to fold his gut shot. He's still got Samuel to act behind him. And then Sam, even with the best hand, it's just going to be really hard for him to continue. Fu doesn't show. Kind of bluffing with the best hand. Get a chance to show y'all the 100K. Final table payouts again for those of y'all that have not had a chance to see. They're playing for a cool $28,820. That's it. You know, no, just chump change for all of us. Just chump change. Thank you to everyone who's joining me tonight for this final table here at TCH Houston. Zachary folding my favorite hand. Tournament different. You don't always have to open the 10-7 in tournament. Samuel mucks the big lick. Nicholas with an ace in the cutoff. This is probably going to be it. You don't get a lot of shots. He's going to choose to min raise it. And this looks really strong. The problem with this is you can't really fold. And you're inviting the big blind to see a flop. Fu folding the exact same hand. Raj, as pretty as the hand looks, can't fold or can't call. And Scott, the second in chips, trying to see what he's getting himself into if he calls. And this is kind of, you do want him to call, but your hand plays so poorly after the flop. And it's going to get this fold through. I mean, Scott's never going to call with 9 high if you just piled it in. But he might call. Now, getting a fantastic price. And with the ace 6 off, you're really just looking for it. I mean, that's not a bad flop. You're just going to have to shove and hope you don't get called. Good on Nicholas picking up a little bit of extra chips with the min open. But when you shove there, you're just hoping you don't get called. All the hands that are calling you are doing great against you or have great equity against you. Good pickup for Nicholas, though, as he works his way towards that 10 big blind mark. Susan now, she's going to need to pick up something soon. She's going to lose 200,000 chips the next time she passes through the blinds. Her next big blind is going to cost her 160K. That's a huge chunk of her stack. So she's going to need to try and get something to work for her. Hopefully just pick up the blinds at the minimum. Double up would be great. Christian Harwood rooting for Scott. Go Scott. It's always good to have a ring. Amir with a premium under the gun. King Jack suited, looking great. Susan still no traction. Scotty worst hand is gone. See what Nicholas wakes up with, and he's got a big hand. Amir raising under the gun though is very strong. If you basically putting half his stack out there, this is a really awkward sizing for Amir to face. I kind of like the sizing. Nicholas is never going to fold after raising to this. You're hoping a raise gets through. It's such a weird spot for Amir to take a flop and play out of position because you're just going to get blown off your equity. But when Nicholas 3-bets like this, there's not a lot of hands he's 3-betting like this and folding. I don't imagine this is one of them. A spot he's going to 3-bet and gamble. But Amir does decide to take a flop. And I'm curious if Amir's going to play out of flow on any of the boards that he connects with. Specifically, if he flops 2 hearts. In domination rotation, Amir flops the best hand. And he does just lead the flop he connects with. And Nicholas can't fold at this point. Oh, I believe it was a check all in and call. Nicholas looking for a queen right now. Queen alone. Ace gives him some additional outs. Now a queen or a 10. No dice. King Jack scoops it up. Nice finish, Nicholas. He will be out in 9th place, getting a cool 28.50. Next person eliminated will get 34.50. Still not a bad payday for a $300 buy-in tournament. Good job, Nicholas. Interesting sizing if he was just going to go for it on a jack-high board. First a call. No pair is going to fold on that board. So I kind of would have preferred if he's going to go with it on any board, just put it in the middle anyways. You're not folding after you put that much of your stack in. Just like the extra fold equity. It's all good though. It worked out for him before when he kind of been clicked. Susan feels good though. With the ladder. That's right, Jay Stevens. Staying out of trouble. Ladder's up.
Don't challenge yourself. I don't challenge you.
And a good one, dude.
Greetings, Michael. Welcome, welcome. Glad to see you in the chat. How are you doing? How's everybody doing this evening? Susan with a very pretty hand. Just gonna have to muck it. Could have shoved it. Wouldn't have worked. Sam would have very much called to the eights. Sam's definitely not folding. I'm curious to see his raise sizing. If he's gonna min raise or pile it in there. I like it. Thank you, Michael, for helping me do my job. Please like this stream and subscribe for all the good times. Gives you all the content, not just TCH. Use all the Texas card houses. Ooh, with the hand that flips with Sam. Can't really call this bet. Yeah, with all these people behind him. He's going to put in 1,000,000 chips, and then if someone else goes over the top, you're screwed. If someone else calls, you're still kind of screwed. This might get through. Good pickup for Sam if it gets through. Uh-oh. Sam has run into it. Amir with the goods. Calls Sam looking for one of the 2-8s.
I'm about to be out, yo. I'm about to be out right now.
Jay Stevens, glad to hear it. 7K into 110K in 3 hands is a pretty big spin up. You thought you were out and then you weren't. An 8 and an 8 alone will save Sam's tournament life. That will not do it. Good finish, Sam. Unfortunate. Ran into the goods. Sam will be eliminated in 8th place for $3,450. And once again, Susan ladders up, making another $700.
Do you want me to switch back to the red or have you next little bit?
We still have only 2 players over the 4 million chip marks. Fu with 5.4, Scott with 4350. Susan hanging on for dear life too. Got a lot of people rooting for Susan too, who has the most supporters for this stream. Scotty, not a great hand.
Two-fold, five-fold.
Raj in late position with King 10 offsuit. Just gonna muck it. Doesn't want to battle with the chip leaders. Scott, one of the top 2 chip stacks. Gonna open this one up as he should.
7 raises to 1.
Lots of chips, put him to work. Reasonable hand with a big chip stack. Amir, does he want to tangle with the big stack? Really, all the options are on the table. If you think Scott's raising too light, you can 3-bet this. If you think he's not, you can set mine, or you can fold and just let other people fight it. If he 3-bets this, most certainly turning it into a bluff. I like this. I like this. Picking up on Scott's ability to open much lighter than normal. And Susan folding a hand with tons of equity against deuces. Scott, not a great hand. Does he want to take it to the streets with the ace-8 offsuit? Answer is no. Good move by Amir. Like it. Good pickup too. Uncontested chips with the Ducks. Good pickup. Good play. I like it. Susan now incredibly short. 365K. Just sitting at a little over 4.5 big ones. That's not a lot to work with. She's gonna need to make something work soon. Probably gamble it up. Although you do have a lot of looks, you're still gonna need to gamble it up when you start to get this short. Especially if you're trying to win. I mean, the worst thing happens, you go out in 7th.
Raises to 160.
Fu getting a little out of line under the gun, raising the King 8 suited. But off the big stack, not terrible with the way the table's been playing. I'm surprised. Maybe a very field player. Raj and the low jack calling with ace jack, and Scotty now getting a great price with Queen 3 suited. Although he's very short. He could elect to see a flop. He could elect to fold. This hand is going to be pretty easy to play. If you flop top pair, it's going to be impossible to fold. 2 9s and a 4 leaves ace high the best hand. Might be who wants it most. If Fu goes after this, that's a very big bet too.
Two folds.
Scotty
Got a bad card.
saying the card is marked. Unfortunate. Takes the fold and Fu gets one through. Chip leader, picking up more chips. I like the aggression though by him, even though it's a little bit loose. It's good to see him putting the chips to work and not just sitting there. Kind of a wild card with what he's been playing. Just calls Ace King versus the button open, and then mixes in the King 8 suited. This is the holiday shootout that will be ending or the tournament that will be ending our holiday shootout. If y'all like 100K guarantees, we have a $200 buy-in version of the exact same tournament that this final table is at the end of the month. Starting December 18th through December 22nd, it will be, instead of a $300 buy-in, it will be a $200 buy-in. $100,000 guaranteed. Same multi-flight structure. 12.5% in the money and 8% day 2, 30K starting stack. Hope to see some of y'all here for that. I hope to see a lot of the players that made this one return for that one. Great value tournament. Great value tournament. Susan really doing a great job of not getting out of line with a stack that short. Scotty, blind versus blind. Let's see what he wants to do. I think it's really shove or fold. You can kind of shove any two cards depending on how light you think the player will call you. 8-6, probably shovable. I don't know how. It's really just how light you think Fu's going to call you. Turns out 8 high was the best hand. I mean, Fu, the big chip, the big stack getting a walk with 5 highs, kind of massive. Gets his ante back, gets the small blind.
No, he's saying is the blinds this hand or
Blinds are up this hand, right?
And it sounds like the blinds have increased. We're going to look at 50,000. 100,000 with a 100,000 big blind ante. Susan needs to make something work soon. Just 3 big blinds.
he's gonna unpause it. He's gonna fix it.
Hello, little fair lady Z. Welcome to the chat. Hope everyone out there is having a great evening tonight. Thank you for joining me for this final table here at TCH Houston. It's DT in the booth tonight. Solo Bolo. Scotty, all in. Suited king on the button. Perfectly great hand to do it. And he's going to get looked up. Raj, got to look it up. Scotty in bad shape, dominated. Unlucky. He's looking for a king or some spades. Or a straight. He could make a straight. One spade and a king. Scotty has taken the lead. Domination, rotation. Raj needing an ace or a 10 now. 10 would seal the deal. Ace would give Scotty a couple of outs, but the 10 would seal it. Scotty just trying to dodge some stuff. Does a good double up for Scotty. Now Scotty with 12 big blinds. Raj takes a little hit. A-Town, glad to see you in the chat. How you doing this evening? Much needed double up for Scotty. Susan, I think this is the time she needs to just gamble. I know she mucked 6-5 suited under the gun earlier, but now if I get dealt 6-5 suited, I'm all in. I need a double up. Everyone else is so short. I'm not trying to ladder now. I'm trying to get in a spot to win the tournament.
One goes all in.
And she does it immediately. I love this. Queen 5 suited in the hijack. Scotty gonna reshove, knowing Susan's gonna have to shove so light. I love it. And you're live here. Queen 5 versus Ace Jack. You're live. She needs the double up. King high. 2 diamonds though. It's still a sweat. A queen, a 5, or a diamond now. That's a lot of outs. Susan's the equity favorite with just queen high. And a diamond. Nice double up. Much needed double up for Susan. Scotty just double upping the previous hand and hits the 5. Giving a little bit of those to his neighbor. Now, both these players are basically neck and neck, 9 big blinds. It's still not a great spot to be because you're the shortest stack, but I don't think either of these players should be playing the ladder. I think they should be playing to win. It's good to see so many of the regs in here, A-Town. It's always great to see a lot of the regular players go so far. Much needed double up for Susan. She's still got a lot of work to do. Scotty in the same boat now. Back to the junk. Scotty with the same junk. Ooh, really kind of playing whatever he wants to play. I like it. Gonna open this up. Big stack, putting those big chips to work. Love it. Zachary got a hand you can very much defend with. See how he wants to play it. I don't know if he knows if Fu is opening this light. If he did, Ace-4 kind of becomes a slam dunk 3-bet. But if you think he's opening a normal range of hands, I like the call. Out flops the 8-7, but I don't think this is going to be a hand Fu is going to give up on. No, Lando, this was not a one-day tournament. All of the tournaments this December in our Holiday Shootout are multi-day tournaments. There were several day ones leading up to a big day 2. And this is the final table. Zachary with the decision now. Can't really improve outside of another ace or a 9. You're either way ahead or way behind. And this is a big bet. It's almost a third of your stack. Does make the call. I'm curious what's going to happen on the turn. Fu making a pair. You have to know Zachary's... Oh, just rips it. And Zachary now in a terrible spot. You don't beat any of Fu's value, and the hand you're really hoping he has is a flush draw. And if he has like Queen 10 or Jack 10 of clubs, you're still dodging a lot. You're really hoping he has something like King, Queen of clubs, King Jack, King 10 of clubs. Those are the 3 hands you beat. You obviously don't beat Ace King, Ace Queen, Ace Jack. One of the questions he's going to ask himself here is, could Fu have a 9? Looking at his hand, if he has 8-7 off, he's definitely got a bunch of 9s. He obviously doesn't have pocket aces. I don't think aces would have played this fast. we just lose to so much, and and you have to think in your head, would Fu be going bananas like this? And it's something I'm curious as to if Zachary had thought about on the flop. Yeah, before you put those chips in, that would have been a great hand for Fu to show. But people don't like showing hands. I mean, he showed Days King earlier. That probably helped get this through, honestly. Big bluff by Fu. Now, kind of separating himself from the rest of the pack. Susan with sixes under the gun. This is a dicey spot. Like deuces, I mean, with just a pair, you kind of probably just have to rip it in. You could min raise it, and then reevaluate, because this looks really strong. I like this better than just open shoving. It looks just as strong. And this is a weird spot for King Queen. Just lets it go. Because this raise looks so incredibly strong. And Jack 2 is going to fold. I love the sizing chosen by Susan. Great sizing choice. For those of y'all that like tournaments, TCH, Austin has a bunch of stuff coming through.
For the first time ever, the Poker Atlas Tour is coming to TCH Social Austin, December 3rd through 16th. 15 different tournaments, including the $250,000 stocking stuffer and the $500,000 title event. For full details, structures, and satellite information, visit the Poker Atlas app or texascardhouse.com.
Great series going through Austin. Poker Atlas Tour. And there are tons of great poker tournaments throughout Texas now. A lot of them at TCH too. The TCH properties. Great place to be. I wish I was more of a tournament player. I just kind of hate myself for after playing for, 2.5 days, 2 days, and then min cashing. Could have spent all that time making the exact same or even more money playing cash. That's why I love cash. Tournaments, I think tournaments are cooler in terms of actual poker, like poker playing, because there's a lot of structures and a lot of blind level formats where you get to actually play instead of just gamble. Scotty, with a hand, I think you can do the same thing that Susan just did. Rip does just choose to rip it. It's gonna, the equities are gonna play so well when called though. A lot better than sixes, I think. You have good removal for the bigger hands to get dealt out. Whereas sixes doesn't, because you have 2 sixes. See if anyone wakes up with anything. Susan with king high, thinking about it. This would be a pure gamble spot, and I don't think it's a great one. I don't think Scotty is shoving a worse. He's definitely not shoving a worse king, but I don't think he's shoving king 10. I don't think he's shoving king jack. Maybe king queen suited. Probably not king queen offsuit. And he's not shoving. Yeah, he's not shoving queen high. To be honest, I think he was shoved maybe queen jack suited, and you're kind of still not doing okay against that. It's a good fold by Susan. Good pickup by Scotty now that he's in the blinds. These players are currently playing for the 7th place payout of 4160. And first place is going to get a cool 28,820. Not bad for a $300 buy-in tournament. Good payday. Good payday. If I could spend $300 and make any of those numbers, I'd be happy. Raj suited king out of here. Let's see what Scott not gonna get involved with the Robbie. Zachary's got a great hand in the cutoff. King queen off. Gonna open that up. Decides to just rip it. I don't hate this with the 2 short stacks in the big blind. Amir can't really call super light. Susan's got a weird hand because it's going to be ahead a lot, but it's not. And Scotty with the pair makes the call. And these two guys are racing. Scotty facing elimination. They're racing. Ace-8 would have been ahead of King-Queen, but still in a racing scenario, Scotty would have had to dodge a lot. I still think he would have made it into the pot. Like I said, when you're in their spots, you just got to gamble at some point in time.
Yeah. This time I had a shitty ace.
7-handed is hard to get dealt a pair, too. I mean, it's just hard to make a pair in poker, guys. Some of y'all out there just see aces and kings all the time. That's not how that works.
It is, I was close to calling. I felt like
Clean flop for 2 7s versus king queen, but still got to dodge some outs. King, queen, or jack. Ace high would have smashed this. Clean turn. Looking for a clean river. Scotty in his mind just says pair the board. And that's not it. Scotty will be eliminated in 7th place. Congratulations, Scotty, on your run. Tough to see you go. Good double up by, effective double up by Zachary. Scotty will be out in 7th for 4160. Great player, good run. Now 6th place, playing for 5,000. Well, pay jump. Susan's worked her way quite up in making that discipline fold too. She would have flopped up here and been rivered, so good fold. The right fold, especially with Scotty still, because you're just hoping to be flipping. Susan,
an ace, but it was a bad ace.
not that bad of an ace. Ace, I mean it's a bad ace.
Lucky I fold. Yes. And with people behind.
Don't have a lot of people, just had Scotty. Comes down to what you think Zachary was shoving, and I think he's shoving a wide. If he's shoving king queen off, he's shoving wide enough for ace high to probably be good. You just have to worry about Scotty is the main problem. But now there are 6. Foo way out in front. Raj, big hand, only 15 big blinds. See how he wants to play it.
I try to do something different.
Yeah.
No, no different.
C6 raises to 250.
A-Town, it was suited, still a bad ace. I agree with Susan's assessment. I am a big supporter of gambling. I would have rather Susan shove ace-8 suited than call. It's just one of those hands that's a great shoving hand and a terrible calling hand in that scenario. Foo defending the big blind with worse diamonds. If 2 diamonds come out, there could be some fireworks between the chip leader and Raj. That was a big raise. 2.5x too. Raj doesn't have a lot to work with, and Foo outflops Raj. Way out in front with a pair of 2. I don't think he's going to let go. Raj just checks behind. Foo knows he has the best hand. Yeah, just going to go ahead and bet it out there. Try and get looked up by ace high. It's not a board you want to tango on. and it's so frustrating. You can see the frustration in Raj's face. You know, such a pretty hand, such a good hand. You don't connect, and that's just one of the things about poker. Those pretty hands are, I mean, they're good for a reason, but they don't always connect.
Yeah, they can.
Scott, second in chips. Expect him to open this up. I mean, these suited wheel aces do so well. Easy to play. Super easy to play. Raj defends with a non-suited wheel ace. Both players completely miss. Most likely would chop this if they get to showdown, but Scott can keep the aggression. I like it. Raj's not going to have any of the strong kings or jacks here. He could have some medium jacks, medium kings. Good pickup. Technically the best hand at the point in time.
So they don't get rid of something.
No one with much of anything. Susan's back to the nothing. Fu with a reasonable hand, chip lead, and a great hand to open the button from. 250. Raj, nothing. Scott, not a defendable hand. Just not. Yeah, shows the 10. That, good pickup by Fu. Fu's kind of separating himself now. 7 million chips. Almost. Is it like 40% of the chips in play? A lot of chips. Susan and Raj now neck and neck. And once again, it's a scenario where they're going to start needing to make something work. Amir with a great hand under the gun. Gonna open this one up, especially six-handed. Looks like 210. Who wants to play? Calls in the cutoff with Jack 10 off. Dominated hand, but we've been shown by his play that he's not afraid to make moves. Scott getting a great price in the small blind. Yeah, this looks like a. I like this 3-bet. I don't really like the hand selection. He knows Fu's just doing some weird stuff, but it's gonna work. Good pickup, good instincts. I like that he's adapting to the table, knowing that the players are opening light, and especially with that call from Fu. Just some extra chips that he could pick up. Becomes very simple though with that hand. If someone gives you resistance or someone four bets you, just put it in the mug. Someone calls, you can play some poker. You have the betting lead. Connor, I don't think Raj is going to give us a smile right now unless he doubles up. Would like to see smiles from the table all around. Everybody's made some reasonable money. I know that you're playing for a lot now. Fu with the pair. Gonna bump it up. 250, the standard. I like it. Keeps the pressure on. 7 deuce not gonna do it. Scott's turn with the Jack 10 off. And if he's calling with this, I imagine he's willing to take it to Fu. Take it to the streets with Fu. Amir now with a premium looking at this action. How does he want to play this? Scott's call is going to be very weak. He's going to have a lot of hands you're flipping with, yes, like 8s, 9s. I imagine he actually 3-bets those. Now that I think about it, I think these are just a lot of weak hands. So I would like to see a 3-bet from Amir. This is just too good of a hand versus the chip leader, but does decide to take a flop. It's also much easier for me when I'm seeing the cards, so. These players have also been playing with each other for hours. Maybe they know something I don't know. I mean, Fu seems like a bit of a wild card. Jack 4-4, disaster for Scott. Top pair, top kicker. Everyone has a piece of this deck. That's a big bet, too. If Scott calls, Scott doesn't have a 4 very often. I don't think Fu has a 4 very often, so all you're worried about with Ace-Jack is overpairs. Scott calling. I mean, did we call with Jack 10 to fold on this flop? I don't think so. When Scott calls, I'm putting Scott on a Jack or a pair worse than the Jack. I don't think he has 2 Jacks. And I don't think he has better than Ace-Jack. I'd be most worried about Fu. And I think with this many chips in the middle, we really only have one decision. It's going to suck to go all in. Maybe not all in. You could raise probably to a not all in sizing. But Fu's going to show up with a lot of hands, I think. I mean, this is a dry flop. The biggest problem with this is calling in any Broadway outside of an ace. So any queen, jack, or 10, or king. Or not jack, sorry. King, queen, or 10 rolling off. Kind of makes it hard. I like this raise. I like this raise. It's very likely you have the best hand. There are tons of hands that you can get value from. Yes, it's gonna be cooler if. It's gonna be cooler if someone has an overpair. I don't think, like I said, I don't think either of the player has a 4. Scott.
What is it? 1,300,000.
It's a min click. Scott getting a fantastic price now. Fu just quickly mucks his 6s, knows they're no good. But now Scott's getting a great price with a mediocre hand. And the biggest problem here is the rest of, regardless of what the turn is, the rest of Amir's chips are going in the middle on the turn. So the question is, do you think you have the best hand now? Because the turn's not going to realistically change anything. And he rips it. Amir's never folding. I'd be so happy as Amir. This does. And Amir's in the tank. there's too much in the middle. We beat so much of Scott's range. We really only lose to 4-4 as played in a slow played jacks. So this should be a slam dunk call. I wouldn't have been raising the flop without wanting to get my chips in the middle. Just shrug your shoulders, and if you got pocket fours or pocket jacks, you're pot. Amir really in the blender for this, and if we were willing to raise the flop, oh my god, Scott just got away with murder. That is absolutely absurd. We're at the stone top of our range there. Amir's just kind of befuddled now. And I know Zachary was confused. I saw the look. Scott's confused. Everyone's confused. That's what a. I mean, I've seen hero folds in my past before. But that if we, I'm kind of at a loss for words. That's absolutely insane to see someone fold a hand as strong as that there. Scott now with the companionship lead. Amir leaving himself with just 12.5 big blinds after that. I don't know why we're check raising the flop with the intention of folding. It should, especially when in my mind, he only has worse jacks, pocket jacks and pocket fours, and I don't think he has pocket jacks very often. By very often, I mean I'm pretty sure he has pocket jacks none. So we really only lose to pocket fours. We beat king, so many of the other hands he has. That was an absolutely insane fold.
It was a bad play, but it worked.
I didn't really want to fall on it.
I just didn't put he scored something. I just didn't put you on his jack because he didn't do that.
A-Town, I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm saying it's such an unusual spot to put that many of your chips, to expose that much of your stack, and then not see the outcome of the hand. I don't think he has any 4Xs. 4-5 suited, 4-3 suited, ace-4 suited. I don't think those hands are. I mean, you block one of the ace-4 suiteds. Now Amir with a great shoving hand on the button. Susan's gonna have to go with this in the small blind. I agree, A-Town. Ace-4 never back jams. I think the only hand, if I have top pair, top kicker there in a mirror spot that I lose to, is pocket fours. The way the hand is played out. Once Fu gets out of the way, I'm only worried about pocket fours. I don't think Susan can fold this hand. You have to gamble at some point in time. The blinds are such that you only have 6.5 bigs. I mean, I guess 7 once you put the rest in the middle. Amir could be shoving so wide that you're going to be live if you put the chips in the middle, and you could be ahead, but you're going to be racing a lot. A situation like this. I don't think fours would shove either. Like, I don't know. That's the only hand we lose to. I could see four. So the argument for shoving with fours is if you think that he only has a jack, and any of the broadways would kill your action, because he's definitely got a hand he's clearly not folding at this point in time.
I think I made the right fold. I mean, like the way I
You
played
could
it.
jam with fours if you think he's not going to fold at this time, but let's say he has king jack and he would fold if an ace hits the turn, or if he has queen jack and a king hits the turn. There's some small percentage of runouts where you don't get the max if you don't put the money in, because in a theoretical scenario, once he puts that much of a stack in, he shouldn't be folding ever. You have just never. He's going to be at top of range. He's going to have a hand like king jack, queen jack, ace jack there 100% of the time, never two jacks. So the argument to jamming is just to make sure that when an unfavorable run out does happen, you still get the max. I'm not saying you do it every time, but especially in a spot like that where he shouldn't be folding that hand, jamming is fine. So I think he could have 2 fours.
250. 6 calls.
Drew, no, I'm not. I'm not trying to judge people for playing hands. It's just there are so many spots like that. A lot of it comes down to math. A lot of it comes down to hand ranges. I mean, this part of poker is it's a problem solving exercise. You're trying to figure out whether or not you have the best hand. When you have the best hand, you're trying to figure out how you can get the most. Oh, the gut feeling is something a lot of people kind of, I think, underestimate, Drew. Like, sometimes you just get that kick in the gut saying, I should fold here, and you make the fold. And sometimes you get the kick in the gut saying, I should call, and you call. And those create some of the coolest hand dynamics ever, because there's no other way to explain it other than, I just thought I should do this. And it's instinct. I mean, a lot of people just have the right instinct leading up to that. You know, you play this game all the time. You get put in a lot of these scenarios, and you just naturally know what to do.
Oh my god, I knew.
What do you have?
King queen.
Good fold.
It was super strong. But
Bad fold.
no. Queen jack. I don't know, king queen or queen jack. One of them. Suited.
I was surprised
Suited
Susan
is-
folded the queen jack suited. Sure. With her stack size, she should just be willing to gamble. When queen jack suited is just doing so well versus the button shoving range, if you think Amir is appropriately shoving. Una with a monster.
You know what made me do that? A lot of reasons was that I fucked up. When you started talking yourself, I knew I was deep.
Choosing his normal raise size. Oh no, it's a little bit larger this time. Instead of 250, it's 275.
If you call, well, you jam, you probably have 4. I'm
AC Amir is a goat.
A
A lot of support from Amir in the chat.
I made it wrong. I don't like my. I was bad.
If I go, then you call.
You just push call, maybe I win.
But if I smooth call, maybe king queen, you have king
If you
queen.
make it anything more than
Players are discussing the hand, and this is very rare in tournaments. You see players actively giving away this much information to each other.
Not about the size.
You would think that in a tournament, you kind of want to keep your edge to yourself if you
Discuss with some people.
and not discuss how you would have, should have, could have played a hand to the table. Ace King's still way out in front.
C7 check, C5 at 300, C7
Scott gonna relinquish the 9 high.
I was playing with you earlier too. I didn't make any type of move like
It's-
this earlier. I'm gonna tell you,
in hindsight, I
your
can see
friends
why-
know this is the first time you made such a move.
Yeah. In hindsight,
I thought it
I
was-
can see why you thought it looked like I had a board. I thought you were squeezing, and that was my reason. And so I went with that. You didn't have it in your hand.
This is they're talking, the way they're talking about the hand is just one of the coolest things about poker is when you get in sort of these weird leveling wars with another player in a hand, and sometimes it leads you to make the right decision or the wrong decision. It's one of the cool things about poker.
Yeah, when you raise there, just smooth call there. You know, we don't know we can hit like that. Just push there. Maybe we will have aces.
I just didn't put ace jack on the That's what made it nice.
I honestly would never have thought he had ace jack either, but I don't know if I would have back jammed the jack 10.
C9 raise.
Players always talk about stuff at the poker table.
One fold,
My favorite thing to do is
5.
say nonsense, things that I very clearly wouldn't do, but some people kind of feel like that I would do based on the way I say them. Amir's opening a little light now. Yeah, Harry, I don't understand it either. I thought I would be check raising that flop with the intention of putting all of my chips in the middle. I explained my thought process through the hand.
The way he played, I thought maybe
It's
That was in my mind too.
people. It wasn't a card read error, Drews. They were discussing the hand at the table. He did, in fact, have ace jack suited. Ever, I mean, I agree, Eric. We're the Railbirds. They made it this far. Poker's Raj all over the 7-5 suited. I love this, by the way. In the cutoff, you gotta gamble. You gotta make moves, and this is a huge pickup. If you get called, cool. You probably have some outs. If you don't get called, that's a nice pickup. Good move by Raj. I don't mind the king 9 suited shove. I think it's pretty standard. If your goal is to play the 10 to 15 big blinds on the button as a shover fold, or if you're gonna shove, yeah, basically as a shover fold. King 9 suited slam dunk shove, especially with the shortest stack in the small blind, the big stack in the big blind. He hasn't really shown the ability to call super light, but he has shown the ability to make big bluffs. And we have the opposite hands of each, well, the suit opposite hands of each other, about to collide. Unless someone wakes up with a monster, these two players are gonna probably chop it up, unless some suckouts happen.
790. C5 calls.
And that's a call.
Yeah, same.
Same hand, same hand. Doesn't happen very often. One player free rolling for diamonds, the other player free rolling for clubs. Queen high flop, 2 clubs, it's sweat. Running clubs will eliminate, or not eliminate, double up Raj. No sweat. Shot pot. Everybody loves a sweat, though. Except when you're in the hand, you don't like a sweat. I don't like a sweat when I'm in the hand. Just turn him dead or something.
Someone else raises, someone else calls. You call, check on the flop. Same thing.
Susan in real danger now. Back down to 4 to have big blinds.
How are you? Congratulations. Say, yeah, got fumes.
She is indeed running on fumes. That's
Next hand, blinds will be up 75, 1.
uh-oh. This will be the last hand at this blind level. Next blind level will be 75k, 150k, 150k ante. Giving Susan just 3 big blinds. Raj and Amir also in danger with 6 big blinds. Stack's getting short. The short stack's getting short. Fu and Scott just way out in front. Everyone else,
Again?
uh,
Okay, aces.
oh my bad. The blinds are 75k, 125k.
6, 7, 8, 9, and 1.
That's still pretty bad.
You won, yeah.
A bunch of trash for everybody. Who gets a walk in the big blind?
Got nothing.
Yeah, blinds are up 75, 125, 125.
That's still not a great spot for Susan. 125k. That's still 3 big blinds basically. Raj a little more to work with than that. 7 big blinds. Amir basically in the same boat. Fu and Scott sitting very healthy. They can. I mean, Fu's already shown the aggression. Scott's already shown the aggression too. I like to see them keep it up. Eric asking what's the over-under for the next person to go out. Under 37. Under 37 what? 37 seconds, 37 minutes, 37 hands. There's lots of 37s. 37 hours? Probably not 37 hours, but I like this open from Scott. This is a little too light of a defend from Raj. 2 diamonds, this money's gonna get in the middle. Yeah, it's gonna be called. 10 highs, way the best hand. Looking for a 4 or a deuce. Raj is I don't know, Eric. You can say whatever you want. Under 37 minutes. 37 hands is a lot of hands. Oh, hand 37. Oh, deuce on the turn. 4 deuce way out in front now. 2-1 favorite. Raj looking to fade a queen, a diamond, a 10 or an 8. Does. Big double up for Raj. Now to 1.75 million. Has a little bit of breathing room. Not a lot, but a little bit. Raj did better. Nah, I would not have seen a flop with the 4 deuce of diamonds. I don't know. I guess it depends on how I felt. Y'all know I like to gamble sometimes. Sometimes DT just in the mood to gamble. That's when y'all need to play poker with me, is when I'm in a gambling mood.
Big blind side.
Susan was rooting for the knockout. She's going to have to make something work. The 2 shortest stacks sitting next to each other. It's going to create an interesting dynamic when they're in the blinds. Because I'm curious to see what the other players do. When Susan's in the big blind, though, there's not a whole lot of fold equity. And I wonder if the players are going to realize that. Aton, you're calling me out. You're probably right, too.
Just leave him, yeah, just leave him sitting there.
I also don't know if I would how I would ever manage to find myself with a stack that short. I'm pretty sure I would have dusted it at some other point in time. That's why these players are better than me. Fu with a great hand to raise the button with. Chip leader.
C5 raises 275.
Choosing the larger sizing again. Raj not going to see. Oh, does. I spoke too soon. Does call with the 8-7 offsuit. Now Scott getting a great price with whatever hand he has. Doesn't really matter what the other card is. Great price. Gonna fight the chip leader. It's interesting because sometimes you see the two chip leaders kind of avoid tangoing. All hearts. Scott with the only heart. Mystery card.
6 checks.
If he has another heart, I would like to check. Fu gonna check behind. Queen doesn't really change anything. If King High is the best hand, it's the best hand. I'm gonna rep this like he has King Queen, Ace Queen, you know, Queen 10.
475,000.
I like this bet. Raj has shown no interest. The way he's played his hand so far, I believe if he had any piece of this, he would have bet the flop or the turn at least. I mean, this is a great bet targeting, you know, tiny pairs and a 7. Scott with a heart. Folds. Obviously, King High wasn't the best hand, but it's going to be really hard to see a river on that board with a pair of 7s, unless you're the aggressor. Good pickup by Fu. Aggression pays. Big fan of that. I like seeing the chip leader willing to battle like that.
Do you mind putting a small line for me? Thank you.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Reviewing cards. Yeah. 9 folds.
George, you're gonna have to be more specific. Does anyone know which man chew? Susan's all in with King High. Does Fu want to gamble with the Jack 10? I don't know. I'm taking things literally when I read chat, so I may be missing some things out of context. I like interacting with y'all. It's much more fun, exciting. Foo's kind of agonizing over this. Oh. Teach their own. Does want to gamble. I don't blame him for this. He's got the chips. Oh, and Scott's got a real hand. I don't want to see a raise out of him. I want to see just call. Yeah. I like this. You get it now. Even though Fu is not gonna have a great hand very often when he does this, you're gonna get to play a pot with him. But now you get a chance at double KOing. Obviously, if he has I think Ace Jack suited would raise. Susan just spiking it, top pair, good kicker. Fu shouldn't bet. I'd like to see this just check through. Now with an open ender for Fu, Susan does not want to make two pair. I don't want to see Fu bet this at any point in time. Just try and get there. Clean run out for the pair of nines, and Susan's going to get a huge triple up. I don't think, yeah, these players. I mean, Jack High has no showdown value, but you're betting into a dry side pot, so there's no point in betting Jack High. There's no point in betting Ace High. It's Jack High. You have great showdown value. You beat King 10, King Jack. You beat Ace 10, Ace 5. Just try and get to showdown. I don't know what Fu is thinking about. If y'all like what y'all are seeing and hearing, please subscribe and like to the channel. We're here all the time. Texas Card House, different properties, streaming tournaments, cash games, basically week long, year round. Maybe not the major holidays. I don't think Christmas and Thanksgiving have streams, but you know, that's okay.
Spasiba.
Great pickup by Susan. Still in the danger zone, but in the same danger zone as Zachary and Raj. Now Amir is the one short of 10 bigs. Fu and Scott still sitting pretty. Fu way out in the lead though.
If you don't have anything, you want me in the hand. Because I can make a beater if it goes away.
He doesn't want me to go there.
Take a look at these payouts again. First gonna take home the cool 28,820. Well, the next person eliminated will take home $5,000. Even. Still not a bad payout. Still not a bad payout. $300 buy-in tournament.
Nothing I can bet. And I
And we have plenty of these tournaments
and I take it
this month.
If I bet, you go away.
The next
Chips 100%.
tournament next week will be our 100K Mystery Bounty, same structure.
Chance by Ace High.
30-minute levels,
Well, you know, you do like
30K starting stack.
and you bet.
Half the buy-in will,
You know, but nothing
$300 buy-in will go to the prize pool. The other half will
But you
go
know,
to
on the throne,
Mystery Bounty after
Correct.
administration fees have been taken. So I believe in the Mystery Bounty tournament, the big bounty is either $10,000 or $15,000. I'm gonna have to double check that for y'all. It's one of those two. I was talking with them.
They'll break it off.
I was talking with them about that. It's a big bounty. I mean, it's really cool that you could pull something like that without ever winning the tournament. You could just bust someone in day 2, grab that bounty, and go out and min cash.
Time I get over there and back,
great.
it'll be a whole.
What mystery bounties are great. So for those of y'all that love those, get down here
So at the,
next week. That starts Wednesday at 5 p.m.
what if I have to go to that?
That'll be the first flight.
Can I get like a bottle or?
I unfortunately will not be commentating that final table. I will be getting someone else.
What do I have my numbers? I want to pee.
Drew, that flew way over my head. That was. That's too big brain for us here. That's small brain. We're gonna have a collision here. Small blind versus big blind versus button open. Eights and ace king are gonna get in the middle. There's no.
Can we look at the numbers just to look at that, just so I can pee?
Yeah, but we can look
And
at the
then say
numbers
no?
only once.
They are not good. They're, if you stop it now and then next time you really wanna look at drums, then you will stop the clock. You have
Amir folds the 2-8s. I think this is way too tight. Once again, this is worst case scenario. You got in 6th. You need to double up at some point in time. You're going to have to double up. Zachary, perfectly capable player, could do this with a ton of hands you're flipping with. Could also do this with a ton of pairs worse than 8s. I think 7s, 6s, 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s all would do it versus a button open. So yes, you're flipping most of the time. You're dominated some of the time. You could be dominating some of the time too. I think I would love to have seen him, especially as the shortest stack. When you're the shortest stack at a final table, you shouldn't be trying to ladder up. You should be trying to double
I'll
up.
take it.
Obviously, that doesn't mean go bananas with the ace the A7 offsuit, which, depending on your stack size, is still probably a shovable hand, or whatever it means, like the king deuce suited. You're looking for spots. You're looking for premium hands, and you want to get called at some point in time because you're not going to win the tournament by folding
Yeah.
or raising and collecting blinds. You're going to have to gamble, and I think that was 6-handed. That's a spot you just have to gamble. I mean, ace king, ace queen, 6-handed, even ace jack suited, all start to look like monsters when these stack sizes are what they are. Ace queen offsuit, his hand's a monster.
50. 8, 4, 9.
Susan waking up with the goods. See how she wants to play this.
475.
Kind of min rate. I like this sizing from Susan. Choosing the smaller sizing.
Yes. One base.
I have this much left.
No, the chips that are not in play, you don't have to count.
And this is an interesting spot for Scott because this looks incredibly strong to me.
475.
I don't know if I like this. The more that I think about this, did I like this raise sizing?
Chips not in play, you don't have to count.
Yeah, Harry, you do have to call with 8s. I think Scott's hand plays best as an all-in. You want to see all 5 cards. You don't want to take a flop.
I think you might be
And seat 1 goes.
It's kings. Susan trying to fade an ace
Come on, don't do it. Don't hurt.
or
I can't look.
see a king.
No aces. Deuce, 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 deuce. Deuce, 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 deuce.
Next to the ace.
You don't want deuce, 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 deuce. 4 deuces means you lose the hand to ace high,
The one.
Susan.
Deuce, 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 deuce. Who want deuces?
The flop. Okay. So
Going to a flop.
I don't care.
Susan at risk.
I'll go out with that.
Ask for a
As
king.
long as you don't hit.
Ace high flop. Disaster for Susan. Absolute disaster. Now looking for one of the 2 remaining kings in the deck.
ready for turn. Right?
He's gonna give you a king.
King, come on. That's so rude.
That's not a king.
magic shit over here. Alright.
That's so
I don't want
mean.
any
It
more.
works for me.
No more. No more of that.
And he knew I was ahead too. and still-
Clean run up for the ace queen after the flop.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do there.
Good job, Susan. Unfortunate to die with kings. Susan out in 6 for $5,000. Now these players are playing for $64.30. Next payout. Good hustle, Susan. I like the fact that you were able to spin your short stack up and you got your money in great spots. Great run.
We have death.
Just sucks. Drew's with the. This is why he didn't show up with the 8s. He didn't want to go out.
9. Seat 9. The seat 1 is the dead.
Does indeed ladder up.
I wish you quit or you were magic.
I wish it comes every time I ask for it.
It was she's about the nicest player. It was just like every hand she was so short, someone would go on. It's like
Once
oh,
I still
You
want
definitely have to dodge bullets and tournaments.
So we have only
Not only do you have to have your big hands hold, you have to you have to suck out a couple of times. You have to get lucky. You just got to run pure. Part of tournaments. Now the two chip leaders are still the two chip leaders, almost neck and neck.
6-4.
And the other players, it's probably going to dictate the play. This is a weird hand. Just mucks the deuces. I'm curious as to why. Yes, deuces aren't great, but it's still a pair. It's hard to make a pair. You can choose all sorts of different sizings. I would have liked to entertain, you know, instead of 2x, 2.5x, you could open to 500K. A sizing that's going to deter the big blind and small blind from calling. You're five-handed now. It's the hamstrings. It's just so hard to make a pair. You got plenty to work with. You can reevaluate too if someone piles it on you. You still have plenty to work with. You got 15 big blinds left. If we're opening the ace-5 suited in the cutoff, we should be opening the deuces
8 race.
in the hijack.
Yeah, you said
I don't want
9-4.
Foo with the 4 deuce off. See if he wants to make something work here. This man likes doing stuff. Oh, it looks like he's putting together a call. He does. He's going to play some street poker. Raj getting a great price with a great hand. Queen Jack suited. You just want to see a flop with this in the big blind. I like the just call. Two diamonds.
5 check, 6 check.
Most equity. Gonna bet this ace high diamond draw. Neither player should have very good kings. They could have pretty weak kings, but not pretty good kings.
8 bets, 300.
We have diamonds and an ace versus a lot of the hands that are continuing. Foo playing some street poker, calling with bottom pair.
That's a
Basically a flip at this point. The deuce pulls way out in front. Foo's hand's gonna look a lot like King Jack, King 10 here. Could have worse diamonds. Queen Jack of diamonds. Obviously, it'd be a disaster if he has King high diamonds because then you're just drawing thin. When Foo checks, you could go both ways. All in, yeah.
8 goes solo.
All in for max pressure. I'm curious as to what Foo is going to do. He has the best hand. If he thought he had the best hand on the flop, the turn really changes nothing. Absolutely nothing. You were losing to pocket nines in the first place. Now you're dead to pocket nines. But if you had the best hand, you still have the best hand. You beat ace queen of diamonds, ace. I guess you beat ace queen offsuit. I don't know how often he's gonna go bet with ace queen. But the hands he could be shoving that
5.
you beat. Does make the fold. Good pickup by Zachary with just ace high. Great pickup.
Bottom 6-5.
I'm just curious as to what was going through Foo's mind when he called the flop. There, outside of making 2 pair of trips, you're gonna have to play some turns, and that's a turn where you could play. I don't think Zachary is gonna have a lot of give ups other than ace queen offsuit with no diamond. Those are the hands that I think to give up. But he's definitely shown that he's capable of putting the pressure on.
Still the same game.
It would have been absolutely insane call if he had made it. Zachary, now better hand, 2 jacks under the gun. Gonna open it up.
250. 9-4. 5.
Most people say they hate jacks. I don't hate jacks. Chad, do y'all like or hate jacks? Jacks. Jack. I can't say jacks. Jacks. Do y'all love or hate jacks? It's a great hand.
Six, 7, 6.
10-4-4, not good for Scott. Flopping top pair. Zachary way out in front now. I'm gonna go for a little bet.
That's
I like the down bet. You're obviously not folding his hand for your stack size on this board, but you can get called by so much worse. 8s, 7s, 6s, 5s, 10x. Oh, and what a turn to get more value from. Scott now ahead of all the ace highs, king highs, queen highs, but more specifically, ahead of all the 10x's now. I love jacks. Oh, that's disaster. Checks behind for pot control. Scott gets there with the effective nuts. That's top full house. Let's see what sizing he wants to go with. I'm curious as to what sizing he goes with, because Zachary's hand looks a lot like ace high, and you want a call from ace high. You don't want ace high to fold. I like this. I like the smaller bet. And this is a tough spot for jacks. We lose to a 4, we lose to 10. But what bluffs does he have? And that's a unfortunate run out for the 2 jacks. Good pickup by Scott. I would have loved to see jacks bet the turn. I mean, Zachary could have lost a much bigger pot if he bets turn. I think the bet's going to be similar, about 400 or 500k. Scott's not going to call, or Scott's not going to fold. Zachary, and then the turn pairs up the 10. Zachary may be able to get away from the hand now. It just becomes such a weird hand. Especially when we down bet the flop. We're going to get called so wide that the 6th turn is pretty much a banana. You just got to go for more value when you can get it. Foo's turn with the 10-6. He's the aggressor now. Raj with ace high. Dominating the 10-6. Zachary's turn with the 10-6 too. 10-6 versus 10-6. We got a collision. Definitely gonna make the call. Neither player hits anything. Zachary with backdoor hearts though. This is gonna be who wants it most. And Fu has already shown that he wants it most. That's gonna get it done. Unless Zachary had some creative things going on in his head, but his stack size probably doesn't allow that.
Button on 6-7.
It's always cool to see the same hands go to battle when they both miss, because then it's who wants it most. I like watching who wants it most. Hope everyone out there joining me tonight is having a good evening. Thank y'all for joining me for this final table for the first 100K guaranteed here at TCH Houston. It's been a fantastic stream so far. Plenty of action. Love it when the players are willing to battle. Mix it up. Fu definitely raising this hand.
5 raised to 56 folds. 7 folds.
7-6 suited with the chip lead. Looks like a monster. Amir, I like this. Taking a flop off of his stack. You flop a pair. There's no fold equity. You flop a pair, you get it in. Yeah. And this may get in. This may get called. Open-ended is probably good enough to call. It's such a good price. Honestly, for the price, I'd probably just flick in the call. You're trying to eliminate a player here. You're just gambling. I'd be, even though he has an 8 in his hand, I'd be glad to see the 8. No spades, so all of our outs are alive. I mean, obviously an 8's dead, but like, we can't be turned dead with a spade. We can turn him dead with a 3 of spades to a chop, but That's not a good card for the 6-7. Looking for an 8 or 3 for the elimination.
I can see when she pull out on it.
That's not going to do it either. A big double up for Amir, now to 1.2 million. Fu taking a small hit. It's okay, though. I don't mind the gamble. I don't mind the gamble at all. You have, for 250k, you're trying to eliminate it. It's like 250k, 275k into a million to try and eliminate a player. Yeah. Gamble. Still sitting pretty. Almost 7 mil. Raj and Amir still in the danger zone.
No, when you pull out, your arm's blocking me from seeing the turn before the other players see it, so that's why I get up. You don't do anything. No, I have a bad view because of C9, that's the only thing.
He doesn't want us to go.
Yeah, if you guys do, I'm like, what happened? You know, I don't like that. Let me see.
What a final table. What a final table. Chat, do y'all like short-handed poker out there? I love five-handed poker. I think five-handed poker is super fun. Four-handed poker, three-handed, two-handed. I love anything from heads up to six-handed. I think it's much more fun than full ring. Full ring, I feel like there's a lot of waiting. So this is the part of tournament poker I would love. Is the five-handed, obviously the final table part, but like the short-handed part is just this is so much fun. Obviously, if everyone's deeper, it becomes a lot more fun. But even with a couple people this short, there's still enough to maneuver. You can make some moves. Raj's hand is so close too. Had it been suited, it's probably a raise.
Yes, that's correct.
Queen 10.
5 calls.
Ooh. Chip leader's going to battle. 9 deuce suited versus Queen 10. Deuce way out in front. Ironically, both the aces folded would have flopped better. Check. Fu on a blank turn. Gonna bet the turn. Oh, he's definitely not folding towel. On this turn, I kind of would like to see. I like to see a check. I would like to see a check raise. I think Scott's gonna take the betting initiative quite often.
7, 3, 7.
And we have the best hand here. This is a slam dunk raise. Let's see how big Fu wants to make it. Goes from cool
1
milli.
million. 5 raise 1 million.
Does Scott want to call with his gut shot? Drews, I don't know if it counts as bank as if you flop the best hand. Scott looks like he's gonna gamble. I do think that this gamble could pay off because if you hit the jack, you will take a huge pot. Huge. I think you might be able to get everything versus strong hands. Scott may think he's also drawing to top pair. Oh, and 9's full. Honestly, I would like to see Fu check this. He does. Because Scott's going to have a ton of hands. And he's going to have a lot of hands he needs to bluff at this with. This is something I don't see. Oh, I love this play by Fu. I love it. And Fu has the effective nuts. Scott doesn't have 9-8.
7, 50.
And this is such a small bet.
7,
I don't really like this small bet.
750.
I would like a slightly larger bet if we're bluffing. I don't think a 9's ever folding to this bet. Which is what you'd really be trying to get to fold.
Yeah, 5 calls.
And Fu just calls? I'm surprised that there was just a just call with that. I would be so ecstatic. I'd be so happy to raise that. We only lose to 9-8 suited. There's only one 9-8 suited left in the deck. That's it. The table sees that too.
9-8, I'm dead.
I've handed. He doesn't have.
You all in, you motherfucker. Fuck you.
I'm surprised that they just called.
I know. I got trouble. And then you always, oh shit. I can go. Look like you
Ooh,
do
really
it.
afraid of the 9-8, but
Just call.
Scott never has 9-8.
Just call.
Scott would have bet the flop with 9-8. Would have bet, obviously, bet turn, but I don't think he checks back flop with it, with top pair, 5-handed. There's plenty of value on that flop to get from the big blind. A little precarious play out of Fu in the big blind. Doesn't go for the max.
Oh, that was board like that? I thought the board went.
I like the bluff by Scott. I wish it had been a little bit larger. You're not getting a fold from a 9 for that much. You probably won't get a fold by an 8 either. Ooh, waking up with a mop.
275.
Doesn't rip it all in versus the big blind. And Raj just calls with the 9-3 suited. Fu letting Raj see it flop. Let's hope both players don't flop pieces. Oh, Fu will be out in front. With Raj's stack size, oh, I love this. I love this check by Fu. Fu just knows what I want him to do.
5 bets 400.
Raj done with the 9 high.
6 folds.
Fu is playing out of his mind. He's playing so well, I think.
I check maybe you all in, you know.
He's playing super tricky. I mean, this is
Not all in.
he's done so many unorthodox things with big hands. We saw him slow play Ace King earlier, worked out for him. We saw him make big bluffs earlier that worked out for him as well. So he's really mixing it up, and I like it. Willing to play. Raj back in the danger zone. He spun it up earlier, spiking a deuce. Let's see if he can spin it up again. He's going to need to make something work.
You put too much. Okay. 7, 8 folds, 9 folds. 5 raise 300.
2 kings for Fu. This is dangerous. You have chip leader,
7 folds.
the most aggressive player at the table, with a big hand. Let's hope Scott. Oh, flops a piece versus top set. He's just dead. Fu checks back. Yeah, that's all. Scott, middle pair, top kicker. Get a bet for a little equity denial. Let's see how Fu wants to play this. Just call, probably. May raise. And versus a player like him, he's so tricky. He makes it 1 million.
1 million. 1 million.
Let's see if Scott can get away from this. This is... He does, just instantly mucks it. And Fu shows that he had the best hand.
I want another hard round.
Fu really afraid of hearts? I'd really want someone to hang themselves there. We have a top set, 5-handed.
Hey, wait, he all in right there.
Is it like 9:30?
Oh yeah, you started.
He win 4 hand on the roll, and then he sit there for 2 hours, no hand. I think so. He fold 2 hours, no hand. I see you fold 2 hours. You have big stack, 2.3 million. You sit there for 2 hours.
6 folds.
I see you sit there for 2 hours. You got nothing.
I saw the same
7
hand.
folds.
I had kings, pocket king, one plate, check. And somebody
I had pocket king, I had pocket 4, and then flop 4, and then the guy keep betting. The guy keep betting. This is young boy right here.
When did you back? Today or yesterday?
Today, 1 mil.
Scott out flopping Zachary Domination rotation.
I fold a hand to him.
Checks. Blind versus blind
Today,
action's fun.
Turbo.
A 7 would be an interesting card. 4, Scott has to think he has the best hand. Zachary only has weak aces, has some 5Xs, but he's going to have a lot of just random hands.
All in. I have ace king. I don't know. I have 1.1 million. And then everyone has 200. So if I call, I only lost 2. I still have 900. I fold.
What a hand. Aces,
Checks.
Yeah.
ace, queen.
Induces Zachary to bet Jack high. Oh, this is not a good river.
And he had
I'd be in love with this river, Scott. I'm obviously never holding. I'm curious as if I was Zachary, I would think I had the best hand here with a 7. Does check it back though for pot control
so I
and get shown the bad
fold
news.
ace king, So 4 guys do whatever they do.
Don't mind the check back. Scott could have some ace X's that he's trapping.
I have seen
He could even have a 4.
but aces, king, queen,
Yeah. You sit there, ace, king, queen, ace, king. My hand.
These guys are.
That was a huge spot for you. Man.
That huge spot from
Raj
me,
is
and the
still
guy next to
needing to pick something up.
Yeah. We back.
5, 600.
We back right up.
Oh, that was the last hand before bagging?
Not a lie because he bust.
This is another scenario where he's just gonna need to gamble.
That's weird, right? Every card on title. Yep. Ace, king, queen, everything.
Boo. The rich get richer. 10 million in chips. Picking up ace queen offsuit. Raj, queen 5, not going to do it. 7's probably good enough to go with. Yep, we're just going to flip for it. Food never folding ace queen. I wouldn't either. You have the chips to spare. Most important part of that. You're still the chip leader if you call. I think he's going to gamble. I would be very surprised if he didn't gamble.
1.380.
Yeah, I would be absolutely shocked if he didn't gamble. You've already put, 250K, 275K in the middle. It's only 1 million more. Yeah, the chips are going in here. Ace Queen's too much of a hand to fold. Fu doing some more inventory. Making sure he's still the chip leader. I'm surprised it's taking him this long to make this decision with the way he's been playing and the way he's been running too. I would have thought he would have made this call. Does make the call. They will be racing. Racing for Zachary's tournament life. 2 7s versus Ace Queen. The classic race, just in a different scenario. Off to the race. Ace in the window. No waiting. Zachary does have diamonds. Running diamonds or a 7 is what Zachary is looking for. No sweat for the diamonds. 7 and a 7 alone will save Zachary. Clean run out after flopping top pair. Zachary will be eliminated in 5th place. Congratulations, Zachary, on your run. $6,400. It's a pretty good payout still. Next, 4th place, we'll be playing for $8,800. It's a little big of a ladder.
And also the blinds
There were 4 now.
Well, you're making a small profit after all the bullets you fired.
Foo,
Like 500 profit.
huge chip leader. Huge
How many
chip leader.
bullets you fired? Like
11.6 million chips, more than double Scott's chips. Amir and Raj just have peanuts basically compared
you
to
got a few
those
ones that
two.
might get very unlucky. The few hands he got very unlucky though, I gotta be honest.
And Amir's not gamble with the 8s paid off. He's laddered up twice.
And then you,
Not gambling with the 8s. Probably better than I would have done. I would have gambled with the 8s.
well, it's a good investment if you guarantee finish first. How much is it? 48? But it's not done yet. You're there to check raise them all in.
It's an exciting final table. And fireworks. You know what has been missing though? Aces. I haven't seen aces dealt.
Do you have any
I don't think so. At least not to my memory. Raj, queen high, no good. Scott, same queen high, but suited. Button, open.
7 raise 300. 9 4.
Oh, and the blinds have gone up. 75k, 150k. Foo just passes the blind on. Doesn't defend the 9-5. This is four-handed poker's the greatest. I love blind versus blind too, because it's very close to heads up. But I think based on Rogers and Amir's stack sizes, Foo and Scott are really just going to play the waiting game because they have the luxury of it. You can, with their chip stacks, you can kind of just wait until they die. One of them dies. Raj and Amir are going to be forced to make a move sometime soon.
Seven four. 9 4. Raise 3 75. 6 goes over.
I think Foo has to call with any 2 cards. Computer hand versus Queen Deuce off.
Is it gonna be a chop?
I would hate to say I'm not. You're a very nice guy, but I'm rooting for you.
Yeah.
Foo looking for a deuce.
What you
This would be a big double up for Raj too.
deuce on the middle flop card.
Other players rooting for a deuce here. Queen high. This is going to chop a lot of the time.
One big card is a chop. Yeah.
It's going to be very hard for this not to chop. It would take a 3-4. Oh, queens and 7 is going to lock it up. Almost. They could still chop. A 9 or a 10 for a chop for Foo. 9 to chop it. That's pretty big for Foo. And unfortunate for Raj as he turned way the best hand. Ryan, let me get those payouts for y'all. First is a cool $28,820. Second, $19,050. Third, $12,860. Fourth, $8,810. So the pay jumps are getting a little bit bigger now.
Well, you're starting to drop him, so yeah.
4K difference between third and fourth. These guys are feeling the pressure.
Here's the second.
They're having a fun time though.
No, that's the third round.
The only question there is why
They're having a fun time.
8 and 9 3.
And
Oh, no, you said
as a commentator, I enjoy this. These guys are having a great time.
I understand. No, I don't have any problem with anything other than calling. Not anything.
I mean, if I'd locked up $8,800 off a $300 buy-in turn, I'd probably be having a pretty fun time too.
Yeah.
Amir with Jack 8 offsuit under the gun. Gonna probably hit the muck.
9 5 4.
The frustration setting in. Raj all in with ace high. This is gonna be a call. King Jack suited is a call. Ace high versus king high. Ace high just a slight favorite.
470, 480.
505.
Pretty standard tournament poker here.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Raj trying to fade diamonds. a king or a jack.
He was asking.
Broadway 2. Really just a king or a jack right now. Looking to fade those. Ace high flop would be miraculous for Raj. Oh, and now it's a sweat. Any king, jack, 9, or ace.
He want deuce, not ace.
Raj just wants the board to pair.
No ace.
Deuce, pretty big banana. Still wants the board to pair. Has to fade a lot of outs. All the hearts are still alive. Neither player with a heart in their hand. Clean run out for the ace deuce. Big double up. Now over 1 million chips. Big double up for Raj. Small dent in Scott Stack.
We have a lot of outs. Took king out. Three jack, three king.
Yeah. Too many outs.
4, 9.
Too many outs, guys.
3 ace. You got it.
I had one of the jack.
Once again, I'd like to thank everybody out there for joining me tonight for this final table for the first of 3 100K guarantees in the Holiday Shootout here at Texas Card House Houston.
If I win this hand, it's over.
It's been a fun evening.
Map is my favorite.
Lots of action.
This is my favorite.
No, it's my favorite.
It's finished. I'm telling you. Every hand I'm gonna catch a monster. I just hope my hopes of that. This one.
Map is my dealer. What are you talking about?
That's one right there. That's 2.
6, 4.
Oh, Matt.
Oh man.
Oh my god, this
I don't
over.
even map.
Man, let's show these people how you wrap up a turn.
This is intense. These players still having a fun time, still understand the pressure that's on them, still understand they're playing for large pay jumps.
Thank you. Don't embarrass me.
As we get a dealer change to Matt.
I'm not opposed.
Thank you, Rushka. Wonderful job.
Want to look at the numbers?
Y'all want to look once since we're close? Are you okay to look? Let's look.
Floor on 20.
They are talking about making a deal, it looks like.
I see that. Yeah.
Okay. We will stop the clock only one time. So that's numbers. You will still be able to look at the clock. Is still.
Can we go to the restaurant?
They're looking at numbers. What's up?
Damn, I just colored them up too. Oh, we got church on. Steve, can you turn
When they make the deal? Yeah, that's when I would have expected it. Oh, should have had my mic muted. Up, spoilers. Phony Turgerson, how you doing? Always great to see you in the chat. But I believe a deal is being made. Great job, great showing by everyone. It was a great final table, Phony Turgerson. I feel like you always show up at the tail end of the streams.
2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 95, 10,
My bad, guys. Spoilers.
11. 11, 4, 9. 11, 4, 90.
Doing the inventory. I mean, Fu gonna walk away with a huge chunk. He's got most of the chip, almost double the chips in play. So I imagine he would be getting very close to first place.
This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
2, 3, 4, 5.
590.
590. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 590.
Yeah, Fu played absolutely fantastic.
24,000.
Fu played absolutely fantastic. That's right, Phony Turkerson. Everyone should hit that like and subscribe button too. That's a lot of money to chop up. I believe, was it 20, almost 70K to chop up? Yeah, that's a lot of money. Not life-changing money, but I mean, I could sure use, you know, $10,000, $13,000. That'd be cool. Little fun money. I ain't rich. One of the ongoing jokes one of my friends has with poker tournaments is don't chop the tournament if the prize you're playing for is less than what your bank account is, which I think is funny.
Where our buddies at?
It is indeed very big pay differences.
Amir? Where's Amir?
It's a good hustle. Obviously, we would have loved to see this play out, but I mean, this is a lot of money. I mean, I don't, and if Fu gets anything close to first place, I don't mind the chop at all. You just save a bunch of time. One of the rare times you get to use your phone while being on stream. Mr. Scott there, you know, when Mr. Raj here, looking at a deal. Let me know what y'all think y'all would do in their shoes in the chat. I mean, if I'm in Amir's shoes, the worst I get's $8,800, right? So I imagine the money you're getting is roughly the same to that.
Well, I'd rather just tell
Gamble
everybody
for
at one time and then y'all can decide.
Just gamble for it.
What we got here will be, these numbers will be rounded to like the nearest 10 or something. 24,554, 12,938, 19,844, 12,202.
Those are pretty good numbers.
If you do agree to those rounded numbers, put a chip in the middle for the cameras.
Are y'all good with it or no?
If not, we will.
You said you were gonna get some anyway. Go ahead.
24,554.
What's that? One more person? No, I need one. How much? Oh, so you want me to give 3? How much you got?
19,844.
So you got 20. I'll take the 19 and we put it right now. Why do I need 20? You don't have to give me anything. So, and you can't have 12?
Ooh, Fu's being a very generous person.
19,844, 12,938. That's 24,554.
Okay, cool.
Again, if you agree to that deal, put a chip in the middle for the cameras.
Give me 20.
I agree.
And the players,
12, yeah, 12, like 12-2.
Phony Turkerson, I'm with you. Especially if I don't mind Fu's position and I don't mind Scott's position because they're if Fu's getting close to first place, which is like 29K, if he's getting like they said 25 or something like that, you don't have to eliminate 3 people. You get to go home early. You say sure you lose $4,000, but I mean $25,000 without having to work on it.
I give you 1,000 more. So.
If you give me 1,000.
Okay, I give you 1,000.
No, then what about him?
I'll give give him 1,000. I'll give him.
No, if it's 1,000 for everybody, then it's fine.
So you give 1,000. You give 1,500 total, and I'll give 500. Okay. That's fine.
Oh, they've agreed to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, do this, the number you do, okay? And then we do
We're giving them each 1,000.
that later.
We're taking 1,500 off of yours and 500.
No, we do outside, we do,
Let it be in the system.
you do in there.
Do
Well,
it in here. And
it
y'all
looks like a
take care of
deal
it.
is being made. I believe Amir is getting an extra $1,000, and so is Raj.
Okay.
First and second place have given up an extra or Fu gave up $1,500, and Scott gave up 1,000. Well,
Finally, we
let y'all know the final numbers for this. They've been given to me. These are the payouts that they have agreed
We got a
to.
trophy, right?
First got $23,060. Second got $19,340. Third got $13,940, and fourth got $13,200. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me tonight for this final table here at TCH Houston. Please tune in for more tournament action later on. We got plenty of 2 more big tournaments coming later this week. Hope everyone has a good evening. DT here out. I'll see y'all guys next time.